What is going on, everybody? Welcome back to Chaotic Minds with your boy Gus.
And the midget?
And, two things that we're going to address right off the bat. One, we sound different. We got new mics, and we got a new setup, and we're trying to get everything all figured out.
The bells and whistles.
So we're sorry if it sounds a little off. But the second thing is, we are so sorry. We have not had one of these little conversations.
Life.
It is a bitch and a half. I probably shouldn't have said that. It's within the first minute, so they don't like it when we do that.
Sorry, we forgot.
So yeah, what's going on, guys? How's everything? How's everything with you? Let's put it that way.
Well, I just hit my 90 days at work. Within the first 2 weeks, they're like, hey, guess what? Promotion. Wait, what? And now they're looking at it again. So I have no idea what I'm doing. I have no idea what's up, what's down, but 4 o'clock in the morning sucks.
Yeah.
Major balls.
Well,
that's why we love coffee.
Coffee is a wonderful thing, and that also kind of explains where we've been between my work and your work.
Mine.
It's kind of difficult to figure out a time to do these and actually sit down. I mean, right now it's like almost 10:30 at night
here in Littleton.
So we're
and it's kind of crazy because you have to work tomorrow, and then I work for the next 10 days straight. Well, 9 days now. He moved it up a day, so woohoo me.
No.
One less day in a row.
But
I love my job, though. Granted, some of the people don't like me, but, perks of management.
That's what happens. So, I did have some things that have been bouncing around the old Nago.
Huh. I thought that was marbles.
No, typically they're screws and nuts and bolts and whatnot.
That does explain why you have a few screws loose.
Just a few?
Okay, a lot.
Okay. Well, first off, I know this is, in this day and age, there has been a lot of scientific questionings, or not really scientific questionings, but like questions that have been given out and surveys that have been given to the younger generation, i.e., the generation that our kids are a part of, about marriage, dating, children in the future, that kind of stuff. And actually, the statistic is not that surprising. A lot of the younger generation don't want to have kids. Like, they can't stay, they want to focus, they don't even want to get married right away.
And a lot of them don't want to get married at all.
And they just want to sit there and they want to focus on their career first. And
which is a lot wiser than us.
Yeah, that is true. But that does lead and has led to a larger influence of open relationships. And
are we meant to be monogamous?
Correct. So, my question to you is, are we as a species, as individuals, or as a society, what is your thoughts on monogamy? Are we supposed to be monogamous? Or are we supposed to be able to have options in our life when it comes to partners?
And here's my opinion about this, because I can touch on both sides of it. I can understand where some people are like, no, I'm going to be with this person alone, yada, yada, yada. I can understand that. And, there were times that being with just one person and only that person would have been great. But the hard part is when you do decide, okay, maybe we should try an open relationship, whether it's an open boyfriend girlfriend, more of a polyamory situation, or is it a open relationship or swinging or that type of stuff where the fault lies and where the bad parts lie on my in my opinion is when the person goes behind your back, and even though you've agreed to have the open relationship, they go behind your back and are not honest with you about it. Like, if you want to sleep with someone because I'm not giving you something that you need, be honest with me. Just don't expect me not to do the same thing. I mean, and that's the other part that's hard is if you're with somebody and you agree to the open relationship, you can't, and I mean you cannot, absolutely cannot, be like, yeah, let's have an open relationship. I'm gonna sleep with so and so. I wanna be able to, have my fun, have my cake and eat it too, so to speak. But by the way, you can't sleep with anybody else. If you can't get what you need from me, you have to just handle it yourself. Sorry. That's like the 50s coming back to Hana saying the women have to be barefoot pregnant in the kitchen and the guys can do whatever the hell they want.
See, my opinion on it is coming from a family that I was raised monogamous, right? And a lot of our generation was also raised that way. We were taught that you're only ever supposed to have one partner. Only ever supposed to have one partner. And once you have that one partner, you don't go around and you don't sleep with other people. You don't go around and lust after other people. You stay with that one partner. That being said, the excuse that is given 9 times out of 10 for why people cheat is I'm not getting insert whatever. I'm not getting enough. I'm not getting, you know, you are failing me in this regard. And one, that is a crock. That is not even close to being acceptable or accurate.
It's a cop out.
But two, the other thing is I'm only human. I made a mistake. Now, that can be considered a cop out. I will fully admit that.
But the
But
same mistake over and over again? Really?
well, if it happens once, it's a mistake. If it happens repeatedly, it's not a mistake. It is a habit. My thing is that we are human. And while humans have the great capacity to just tear and mess stuff up all over the place, we also have a huge ability to love. And love hits us at any point in time. I mean, it's what we end our shows with. Don't forget to love each other. We took that from Critical Role. Thank you, Matt. You are awesome. We love that.
But we've also added our own spin of "don't be a dick"
Yeah.
because and that can mean many different things.
But my point is you are going to have multiple loves in your life. You have platonic love, love between friends, love between family, then you have familial love, which is love between your family up to and including children. And then you have the romantic love, which is what everyone thinks of when they think of love. But that romantic love, there may be points in time where you are so madly in love with one person and you want to dedicate your life to them and be with them, but then you find somebody else that you're also in love with, and you can see your future. You can see a future with them as well, and then you get stuck, and it's like, which one, which is which, and you get all sorts of, you know, upended and talk and tossed around like you're in the ocean and you don't know which way is up. And that's I've met a lot of people with my job, and there's a few of them that are in open relationships or polyamorous relationships. And the one thing that I hear about a reason why things went wrong is they were pushed into it. The second reason that I hear why these relationships ended is time. Whoever the main
And jealousy.
Yeah, well, that goes with time. Whoever the main person is, whether it's, a male with two girlfriends, a male with a girlfriend and a boyfriend, a male with three boyfriends, a female with two boyfriends, or a boyfriend and a girlfriend, or two girlfriends, however you want to look at it, it always, the one key factor to, and when it comes to time, is there are times where one of the partners doesn't feel like they don't get enough of it, and they're being neglected.
And one of the things that, you know, I've made it a point in making sure, especially that is that if we decide that, this is something that we desire and we desire to move forward with things like this, the one thing that I ask is that no matter who we're dating, who we're having fun with, anything like that, at the end of the night, that's it. You come home, we have our family. This is where we lay our head with each other every night.
Well, here's my thing to that. Yes, that is true. But what if, let's go ahead and put it into a hypothetical, right? What if we decide to move in together, or we have somebody move in with us? We've had this discussion before about potentially getting a place big enough for multiple people, right? What if we get to a point where our partner moves in with us? My whole thing about time is that it needs to be equal. I'm an equalist. I see things how they are, and equality is equality across the board. It doesn't matter what it is. But if you're going to go ahead and say, yeah, let's do this, let's introduce somebody new into things, then that means time as well. That means your time that you spend with everybody gets split evenly or as close to evenly as you can. So, like 7 days during the week. There's one week where one partner gets 4 days and the other one gets three. And then the next week, that same very next week, the partner who had three gets four, and the partner who had four gets three. And you flop back and forth. So that way you're spending equal amount of time with one another.
Now, here's the thing. Here's my caveat to that. There will be nobody moving in. No. After the back and forth and the BS and, thinking, okay, we'll get a place big enough for this person to move in with us, it's like we became pariahs and this person only speaks to us when they want something.
Well, no, hang on. That is not a good example because we were very clear with what we wanted and how we saw things. They were not. When I say introduce somebody like that, I mean they already know from the get go, and they already are the same, have the same mindset. I mean, from like day one, same page. Not day one, we're on the same page and they're just refusing to read the book, which is analogy wise, that's what happened. You know, when I say this, I mean, we know what we want. They know what they want. We all know what we want together. That's when I'm bringing up like potential, you know, togetherness under one roof.
But the other thing is, and this is something that I will not budge on, and I hope you still love me afterwards. But while the children are still in our house, it does not happen.
Well, I can understand while the children are still here, certain things don't happen.
Moving somebody in is what I'm
No,
talking about.
hang on here. There's a reason why I say hang on. It would be the same thing as having a roommate. It would.
I'm done having roommates.
They are useful.
But here's the thing. Would you feel the same way if it was a guy?
If me and him got along, yeah, I would still feel the same way because I'm an equalist.
But here's the thing. You get irritated and
You
upset.
say here's the thing a lot. Like,
yes.
There is no like here's the thing. It's here's the thing. And then you say it. And then you continue to say it. I understand where you're going. And I get where you're going. My jealousy kicks in. Yes, I know.
Have a bad habit of that.
However, I also realize that it is a fault of mine. And I try every day to change that mindset. Take a look at how many times I'm actually angry, quote unquote, about you and your cuddle buddy.
He's not my cuddle buddy. That's his name in my phone because he misunderstood what was said.
I understand that. But take a look at how many times I'm actually irritated about that. There was that one time, and then you explained it, and everything was made clear, and it's like, oh, cool. Now, am I going to go ahead and say that if you wanted to go ahead and add in a dude into a relationship, that I wouldn't at first be hella jealous and hella like depressed because it's like, okay, whatever. No, I can't say that because I would. However, what's the one thing that everyone needs to do, especially in the times that we're living in today? Communication. You communicate with me. You spend time with me. And me and him spend time together, whether it's just watching TV, playing a game, having a beer, doing whatever. And I can honestly see, like, okay, this dude's cool. Like, I get that. And then you have a roommate. But, once again, that's because I'm an equalist. What's good for the goose is also good for the gander. That's how I've always been. At least since you've known me, that's how I've always been.
And I mean, here's the other thing, that rolls around in my mind, and it's something that I dealt with in the past. Is please, for the love of all that's holy and unholy, or whatever anybody that's listening believes in, if you're going to have an open relationship, please use protection.
Well, not only use protection, but use understanding. Because you might, let's put it in another way. And I'm gonna go against one of my two core things. I'm gonna talk about religion here for a second. Let's say you were raised Roman Catholic.
Which I was.
And let's say that I was raised Pentecostal, which I was. And we don't care about how each
Ironically,
other.
I like the Pentecostal church more than the
But
Catholic church, but you know,
let's say we meet somebody and they're Hindu.
that'd be freaking awesome.
No, don't make that joke.
No, it'd be freaking awesome.
We don't allow our religious beliefs to get in the middle of a relationship. Or let's say I dated a girl when I was younger and she's Wiccan. Okay. Did it get brought up? Yeah, a couple of times it did. But
Understanding somebody's religion is not the same as being stupid about somebody's religion.
but when I went ahead and while it did get brought up, I didn't allow it to get between her and I. Other people tried to put it in between us, but I never allowed it. You cannot allow somebody's religious beliefs to interfere. So you want to be understanding to what they need, what their needs are. Once you get to that point, then it's just like, okay, cool,
Yeah.
But it's a matter of societal standards nowadays. Like when we were growing up, that was unheard of. If you did that, you were looked at like, oh God, what is?
That's why swingers clubs were so underground.
That is true. I still don't understand swingers, and I don't need to be. I don't need you to try to explain it to me again because I don't care to. Stop. 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 Stop.
Two
Stop.
two
Stop.
sets
Stop.
of two
Stop.
sets of married people
Stop.
trading each other. Like
Stop.
the guy
I
would have
don't-
me and you would have the girl. That's it.
I don't need to
That's it.
understand. I don't need to understand this. Okay.
Swingers
Stop
are
it.
awesome.
Stop it. But back when we were growing up, that was looked down upon. Like crazy looked down upon.
They just hit it better.
But as we're getting older and the newer generation is coming up to take our place, those types of relationships are becoming more and more socially acceptable, except by the old school hard ass adult, like adultier adult, the older generation. So the question is, or the question then lies, if you are our age, for example, and you decide to have or start one of these relationships, do you tell your parents or do you just keep it from them?
Our relationship or our relationships are none of our parents' business. And I say that because it's something that my mom brought up, since I was a teenager. Since I came out to my mom when I was 15 that I was bisexual, that I was interested in both parties. I didn't care. And actually, the more I think about it, it's more of a pansexuality because I'm interested in the person, not the gender.
Attack helicopters.
No, I am not interested in attack helicopters. I am not Rocket Romano on the top of an ER.
What about
Sorry.
what about toast?
That I might like. But no, something that my mother said was that you can't help who you fall in love with. But your relationships are none of my business. If you want to sleep with Joe Schmo down the street, protect yourself. If you want to sleep with some chick down the street, protect yourself.
Well, no, the reason why I bring this up is because a lot of people, especially our age, we are expected to at some point one day or another to introduce our other half to our parents, especially guys. We are almost demanded to be present when the lady or the female or the other partner goes ahead and talks with them, and if that one person wants to go ahead and propose, they're expected to speak to the father.
Don't speak to my father. Yeah, I don't speak to him.
And so we're expected to bring our partners to meet our parents. If you're in an open relationship, do you just bring the one and just make it, just have that one and keep the other one a dirty little secret, quote unquote, not to take a song title? Or do you go ahead and you're like, hey, this is my life. This is what I chose. I will suffer any repercussions from it at a later point in time, but this is what I'm choosing.
See, here's the thing. I still don't think that our relationship is any of our parents' business. But the biggest thing that, still rolls in my mind, and this is why, on one hand, yeah, I can see this type of relationship working, but on the other hand, no, is because I have always been of the belief that if you fall in love with two people, always choose the second person because you weren't really that in love with the first person.
See, and that's where the monogamous part comes in. Because in that way of thinking is a very old school style of thinking because it's like that's assuming that in our lifespan we are only ever able to fall in love with one person. And that's it. If that's the case, then how come widowers get remarried? If we were only ever able to
No,
fall in
I'm
love
saying
with
at the
one
same
person, well, hang
time.
on, I understand that, but it's the same argument. If we were only ever able to fall in love with one person, then widowers would never get remarried. They would never fall in love with somebody else.
No, and my thing is the reason why I say it that way isn't, that whole spiel. The thing is like you and I being together, I love you more than anything in the world. But if you love me and we get married, which some people think we already are, so I don't know. But if you fall in love with somebody else, there's no hope if something happens and I change my mind and say, this isn't working out for me, then it'll turn around and be like, you're going to still be with this person because you're in love with them. No, you have to draw that line.
Well, and that's where the conversation happens because there needs to be almost like a 100% guarantee, right?
Yeah.
If you're going to attempt an open relationship with somebody, then all parties in that are going to be involved in this relationship need to sit down and be like, okay, if this is to come to pass, then we need to sit there and have things already set up. But we are not going to go into this relationship with each other with there potentially being a point where one of us is going to be like, I can't do this anymore.
And that's the thing. That's where I have that
Glimmer of doubt.
mentality.
Well, yeah,
because I've tried this before, and I end up getting screwed.
well, and that part is
And
understandable.
that's the hesitation I have.
And that part's understandable, and that part's the thing. I'm not sitting here trying to go ahead and trying to convince you to be in a open relationship or a polyamorous relationship. You're the one who went ahead and said something to me about it in the first place. If you don't remember, um,
Yes, but I wasn't talking about relationships. I was just talking about having a little extracurricular on the side. If
I
I can't,
understand that.
if say, let's use the common issue with marriages, blowjobs. Okay, everybody likes them.
Yeah.
If I'm not giving you enough blowjobs, cool. Stephanie, that's not anybody's real name, so. But like, Stephanie down the street is interested in giving you a blowjob. Cool, have fun.
Like,
But this is our relationship.
right, and I get that. And this is where we're not trying to take this and make this into a counseling session or
God no.
make it this person's right and this person's wrong. We're gonna get back to that, but we're gonna take a quick little dip to our sponsor here.
All right, welcome back. Sorry, had to do a little sponsor thingy. Um, but you were saying something, or you were about to say something.
And see, and here's my biggest thing, and this is something that some of the kids in the younger generation that are just coming up to adulthood have said to me, and it makes sense. Is it's not the desire for another relationship or an open relationship or however you want to put it, because we have a great relationship. Granted, sometimes we want to strangle each other, but it's the desire to have a little strange every once in a while. To have, okay, he's not giving me whatever. I can go out and have a little fun. I'm not giving him enough blowjobs, like I said before, which is a huge source of contention in a lot of marriages, is sexual desires and needs. And then you can go down the street and be like, "Hey,
Well, I don't know about going down the street. I don't know if I trust anybody down the street.
yeah, no." But the thing is like if you have somebody that's interested in giving you that thing that you lack, go for it. Just be honest with me. Be like, "Hey, I found this chick that likes giving blowjobs. Do you mind?" Cool, go for it.
Well, and here's my counter to that. Your way of thinking is more along the lines of a short-term issue or a short-term thing. You know, every once in a while, go ahead and do this or go ahead and do that. My thing is while yours is more lust driven, mine is more relationship driven. Like
I don't want another relationship.
let me
I don't.
let me put it this way. Okay. Let's say your best friend, whoever that might be, comes up to you and
Shell.
goes ahead and states, "Hey, I know that you're with me. Okay. I want to be in a relationship with you, and I'm okay with having guests there as well." Okay. That's what I'm referring to. In that scenario, what would your answer be?
I can't in good conscience date two people at once. Like it gets too messed up in my head.
Now, keep that in mind, okay? What if same scenario, Shell comes up to you and is like, "Hey, let's all sit down and have a conversation and get some ground rules set, a ground level, a foundation set." Because every good structure, whether it's a house or a relationship or anything else like that, as you know, this starts with a good foundation. Let's get some ground rules, a good foundation set. This is what we can expect. This is what we can do. This is what is allowed. This is what's not allowed. All of that. And technically, we're not dating, we're just together because there is a difference. And we know this difference because of one of our friends. You know, which one I'm exactly talking about.
Yep.
But we're not dating, we're just together. Okay.
Okay.
If that all of that happened before anything started, okay,
Okay.
how would you feel? Could you see that happening?
Not if anybody lived together.
But if there wasn't like say say we were neighbors. Like we weren't living in one house, but we were next door to each other or like 10-15 minute, I mean, we're a 10-15 minute drive from where now.
Yeah.
Let's say that, right?
Mm-hmm.
Could you foresee that happening?
On one hand, yes. But on one hand, no, because my issue with it is feelings always get involved.
Yeah.
And
Even with these little one night stand scenarios that you go ahead and you just brought up, feelings are gonna get involved.
yes, but I'm not gonna be like he was pretty good in bed or she was pretty good in bed. I'm gonna go be with them now. And that's the thing, is like with relationships and having relationships with more than one person, that's going to happen.
Not necessarily. That's where the conversation happens. In any good
It's
relationship,
not
even
it's not going to be on us though. It's going to be the other person being like,
hang
"Hey,
on. Let me finish here. Okay. That's where the conversation happens. And that's why the conversation is needed. And that's where the groundwork, that's where the ground level, the ground rules gets why it's so important to have those.
and I get that."
Because if you have these ground rules, then all of that can get prevented. And if you have it so that way a decision gets made by the three and not just by two or by one, then and only then can it come to pass.
And that
It's
is
kind of
where
like a council.
and that is where my one rule of no staying the night anywhere comes in. Because that in itself is a recipe for disaster.
Well, then it violates the second thing, time. How are you supposed to spend equal amounts of time with somebody, right?
That's the thing, is it's
not,
not equal. You're talking about a relationship between
that's what I'm saying.
no
That
way.
you are missing the point of this hypothetical scenario. Okay. In this hypothetical scenario, you are in a relationship with me. You are
Yes.
also in a relationship with Shell. Shell is also in a relationship with me. There is a three-way tie going on here. Everyone is equal in a relationship, right?
Yes.
Okay. That being said, if a relationship is happening, whether or not you look at it as I'm dating this person or I'm just with this person, because by all means, right about now, we are with each other. We're not dating. We are with each other, right?
No, we're dating.
No, we're with each other. We live with each other. We go out with each other. We don't always go on a shitload of dates.
Because we're too lazy.
We are together. Dating is you live separate. And in living separate, you have to go over and sit there and pick them up and take them out, right?
Yes.
Okay, that's dating. We are not dating. We are together. It kind of like it goes back to we live together, we sleep together, we eat together, we have children together. We are not dating, we are together. You're thinking of it, you're looking at it as dating. This person is dating this person who's dating this person who's dating the first person. I'm not saying dating. I'm saying we enter this hypothetical relationship with the mindset of we are together. We make decisions together. We come into resolutions together. We share each other. That is what I'm referring to. I can understand your hesitancy and I can understand the question. Well, what if this person wants this with this one more than this one? That's where the conversation happens. Hey, I want to do this more often with this person. Okay, I understand that. And you sit there and you have a conversation. Well, why? What makes it uncomfortable? What makes it more comfortable? All of that. And you work together as a team, as a council. so to speak, triumvirate. That is what I'm referring to. So, in that scenario, okay, with that little bit of knowledge, with that little bit of insight put out there, right?
Right.
Could you see it happening?
Not really.
And that's where society, that's where the open relationships fail. That's why a lot of open relationships are just there for a few months and then they fail because one person cannot wrap their head around it.
And it's not even that I can't wrap my head
Oh
around
no, I'm not.
it.
I'm not blaming you. Don't
It's
get me
saying,
wrong. I'm
it's
not
saying
blaming
that I
you.
can't wrap my head around certain aspects.
I am not sitting here and saying this is your fault, yada yada. I'm saying you have a very common mindset with everyone else who have these relationships or who are thinking about these relationships and stuff like that. Because
Keep in mind, everybody, this is like he said, a hypothetical scenario. This isn't us normally, just so you're aware.
so here's the thing with that, okay? A lot of people go into these types of relationships, right?
Right.
With the same mindset as you. This is just going to be quick, fun, dirty, happy, good times. But when relationships start to happen or when feelings start to develop, they get into the mindset of hope for the best, plan for the worst without hoping for the best. You go into it just planning on the worst, and that's it. Instead of sitting there and being like, okay, how can I make this work? It goes into more of a, how is this going to fail? Because don't get me wrong, in that hypothetical scenario, I could see myself acting the same way. Well, she wants to spend more time with Nay, and she's not spending any time with me, and Nay is now spending less time with me, or so I can't do this, and I get that, and that is a part that does pop up. But
and that's all part of the jealousy aspect on both sides.
But there's another part of me that's like, okay, what can I do to make things easier? What can I do to make things a little more spicy, so to speak? How can I adjust my way of thinking and my way of doing things to allow myself to be involved and included in some of these scenarios? And some of these I'm not going to be able to be because, well, I'm a dude and,
I'm a dude. He's a dude. She's a dude.
So there's going to be points in time in that hypothetical scenario where you just want girl time.
Yeah.
And I get that. But that's the key word of that is the second part of that, time. If you sit there and you spend enough time with me, and you sit there and you spend equal amounts of some time with Shell, and Shell spends equal amounts of time with me, and we all spend equal amounts of time together, that drops everything down.
Yes.
Including the jealousy.
But would you feel the same way if it was a dude?
Yes. If you were to hang out with me, if you were to spend time with me, right?
Yeah.
And you were to spend time with Joe Schmo.
I was gonna say, don't you dare to say his name. I would seriously slap you because
if you want to spend time
he's talking about listening.
If you want to spend time with Joe Schmo, right?
Yes.
And then I get to spend time with Joe Schmo, not doing anything, just hanging out because
dude time.
Yeah, dude time. And then we all spend time together.
I believe he likes the same kind of beer, and he's bipolar.
It would make the jealousy go down because I know what is going on. I know how he acts. I know how he is. I know this. I know that. It's a sharing of information.
But one of the understandings for me would have to come in form of, okay, if the other person starts catching feelings, no, that's got to be the end of it.
Not necessarily, because like I said, you cannot look
I'm
me
talking
square in
about
the-
monopolizing feelings.
Monopolizing feelings is the same thing as monopolizing time, and that's where the conversation, that's where the ground rules get laid out. If there comes a point in time where one person's like, hey, I'm not getting as much time as this person is, then a conversation is held between the three, right?
Yes.
And then once that conversation happens, then ta-da, things get fixed, or things start to get fixed, or they start working on getting fixed. If it doesn't get fixed, right, and let's say it's you and I invite Rando, not Rambo,
Rando.
in, right? Male or female,
Okay.
doesn't fucking matter, right?
Yeah.
And they start trying to monopolize either my time or your time.
Yeah.
Okay. And you come to me and you're like, hey, this is how I feel. Or I go to you, hey, this is how I feel. And we all sit down and we talk. And that person still is trying, after the conversation, still trying to monopolize the time. Then, okay, you're gone. We're done.
But here's the caveat to that.
If it's
No.
us, one of us trying to monopolize the rando's time, then because we entered the relationship with that person, then you and I would need to sit down and have a conversation, be like, yo, what's going on?
And here's the thing. Here's my point about it is, whereas I've been in this type of situation before, and I'm pretty sure you have, we all agree that, hey, this person isn't going to monopolize my time or your time anymore. We're all going to go back to the way things were. And then people start breaking the rules.
That's part of the ground rules that need to get set up. What happens when those rules get broken?
But here's the thing. If it's, let's use my best friend.
Okay.
If it's my best friend, that's where things are going to get difficult because of the fact, and here's the thing, is that she would try to monopolize all of my time, and we decide, hey, this isn't working out with this person, but I still want to spend time with her because she's my friend. But then it gets into that whole monopolizing the time thing, even though none of us are in a relationship anymore.
That's when a conversation happens.
Yes. But after a conversation has happened,
no.
And you go back in something else. No. You gotta let me finish.
Okay.
And so and you go back to normal, and then it starts happening again. Where's the point when you say, yo, you can't be speaking to this person anymore?
That's where another conversation happens.
Because there are certain people that I'm not comfortable with you speaking to,
right?
But I've had to
tamper it down,
even though I really want to tell you, yo, you're spending way too much time talking to this person every day, and it's starting to make me feel uncomfortable.
Okay.
And
are we talking recently?
No, it's happened a couple of times. And then when this person started talking to me, you feel left out. And so I just finally stopped talking to said person.
Okay. So here's the thing with that, okay? If you're like, say your best friend, right?
Mm-hmm.
Who you were friends with before you and I got into a relationship together is none of my business. It is none of my concern. If you want to sit there and you want to spend time with them, by all means, go spend time with them.
Unless their name is any of my exes, then you don't like me talking to them at all.
No, I don't like you. You are correct. I don't like you talking to them. However, do I ever stop you?
Only once.
And why was that?
Because he's a dick.
Okay.
And all he wants to do is sleep with me.
Yeah. So, was I in my right to go ahead and say, hey?
Yeah.
Okay. So, say it's your best friend. Okay. And you were
Okay.
friends with them before you and I got together. It is none of my business who you're friends with at all, whether it's before or after. You are allowed to have your own friends. Right?
Yeah.
If you're going to sit there and you're going to spend, time with them, by all means, spend time with them.
Yeah.
I'm not going to prevent you from doing that. That is not me. That's not how I am. And it's not acceptable for me to demand you to not spend time with those friends. If there comes a point where I feel that you're neglecting me in our relationship, then I'll say something to you like I have before. On at least 2 different occasions, I've sat you down and be like, hey, when are we going to have time for us?
Yeah.
And we've talked. Now,
On the
that
other
being
hand,
that being said, are there instances here, even with that I feel uncomfortable with you talking to certain people? Yes, absolutely. However, it's none of my business. Just like you said with your parents and how your mom put it, and all that.
Mm-hmm.
The same is true for relationship partners, because it's equal time. It's an equality thing. Who you're friends with is none of my business. Who I'm friends with is none of your business. If we choose to make it each other's business, which we do, because
Typically.
that's how we are,
Yeah.
we're very honest with each other about everything,
Mm-hmm.
then it is our business.
Yeah.
But if you want to sit there and you want to spend time with somebody, even after, like, take that hypothetical, right? If we decide, nope, we're just gonna go ahead and go back to, y'all being friends, or the three of us not being in a relationship together, and it's just you and I, and you want to go hang out with them, by all means, go hang out with them. If I feel that they're taking up too much time and we're not having any time together, I'm going to say something to you, and then we're going to go ahead and spend time together. And then you'll have to sit down with your best friend and be like, hey, I understand, but we need to get our heads on straight.
Yeah.
And we need to clear our heads and not have this affecting anything. And you go from there. But you go into these relationships, and that this is a thing that I think is what fails a lot of these open relationships, is you go into these relationships, and before you even start the relationship, you have ground rules set. It's just like having, just like being in a, SD, SM, a fetish relationship.
Yeah.
You set up a contract, pretty much.
Yeah.
This is what's to be expected. These are the rules. These are the punishments for breaking these rules.
Yeah.
And you go from there. If you don't have a good a good foundation, you're not going to have a successful relationship. We have a very good foundation for our relationship.
Yes.
Every night, we sit there, and if we have something on our minds, we talk about it.
I typically don't like going to bed angry.
Yeah. But even if we do go to bed angry, we still sit there and we talk.
Yeah.
How many relationships have you had where if you got pissed off about something, you didn't talk about it, and then those relationships fell apart?
Couple.
Okay. Same thing with me. We have a very solid relationship because we have that stable foundation. Now, if we didn't have that, I honestly don't think we'd be together anymore. because there have been several arguments that we've had over the years where you got pissed off at me, I got pissed off at you, we screamed at each other.
You took
And
off in your Jeep.
I went for a walk, or you went for a walk, or
Yeah.
you took off in your car.
Half a pack of cigarettes later,
And
come
we
back and we're
calmed
cool.
down and we came back. If I honestly believe this. If we did not have the foundation that we do, when we left, that would have been it.
The background we have too, the past relationships.
But that
'Cause
would have been it.
Good Lord.
I honestly believe that. If we did not have the foundation that we do,
Yeah.
we would not be together anymore.
And here and this is gonna sound kind of funny coming from me because, well, you know, but ironically enough, one of the things that I think keeps me level-headed and may or may not keep you level-headed and keeps us kind of chuckling and having ideas rolling through our heads together, and what keeps our relationship so solid is, what is the internet for? Porn. I swear to God, if more couples watched porn, I think there'd be a lot happier people.
But in the end, what it boils down to, just is, it's like I've said many times, a good foundation. If, ladies and gentlemen, if you're listening, or hopefully you're still listening, if you want to have any sort of relationship, whether it's monogamous or polygamous or polyamory, however you want to put it, you want to have an open relationship or you want to have a closed relationship, whatever.
If you want to sleep with the attack helicopter next door,
if you want a relationship with the attack helicopter next door, you need to have foundation. You need to set ground rules. You need to go over what can be crossed, what can't be crossed under any circumstances. You need to have trust in the other person. And you need to have an honest, open conversation with the other person.
I'm sorry, I'm not spending the night without you.
That's fine.
Suck a dick.
But you need to have this in order to be able to fulfill all of the requirements for an open relationship or any relationship to begin with. If you want to sit there and you want to be like, I'm with this person, but I am not dating them, they are not my boyfriend, girlfriend, attack helicopter person, partner, however
They
you
are
want to
my
put it.
sexual gratification.
If you want to have one of those, you need to have ground rules.
Exactly.
If you want to have, this is my daddy, I am his brat, then you need to have ground rules.
Still kind of strange concept to me, but okay.
Well, or this is my mommy and I am her brat, because I have seen a bunch of those simps.
Just don't tell me you're gonna be a big baby. I am not changing no damn diapers.
There's a
I am
difference.
not changing no damn diapers.
That is a completely and totally separate fetish. That is not a type of relationship goal.
Creepy.
You know, but if you want to have these dominant, submissive, any style, whether it's primal, whether it's brat, sadomasochistic, whether it's submissive, dominant, slave, master, whatever, if you want to have these relationships, set ground rules. And
don't flip-flop all the time.
Don't flip-flop. Have trust in that person. Have the utmost, ever-reaching, non-conforming, however you want to look at it. You want to have irreparable trust. Not irreparable.
Unshakable trust.
Unshakable. There you go. Unshakable trust in that person. Set ground rules. And above all else, remember that you enter this relationship because you are in love.
And you want to.
And that you want to, and that you love this person. Because at the end of the day, that's all that matters. So we're actually going to, this is actually going to be one of our shorter ones, as we've been going for about an hour.
Yeah.
We both have to get to bed. So
you have to work tomorrow.
Yeah, that I do. So that being said, ladies and gentlemen, let's try to not have a major gap between this one and the next one.
Good luck with that.
But don't forget to love each other. Thank you, Matt.
Yep. And don't be a dick.
We love you guys.
Have
And,
fun.
have faith, have trust. Don't forget to love. Everything's gonna be all right. I know I butchered that. I'm sorry.
Okay.
Okay,
He needs to
bye.